What's up guys, and welcome back to the infamous project. This is going to be a different video today. There's going to be a lot of moving cars. And the reason for that is I actually need to get the 93 silver tip ditch coupe back up on to this 4-post lift. Now this video is actually one that my wife told me that I should do because when I was moving all the cars to get the car down, she's like, have you ever done a video of moving all your cars around? I'm like, no, seems pretty boring. However, she thought it was a good idea. And you know what? It probably is. And it's not just going to be moving cars. I'm actually going to talk about numerous cars that are in the shop because whether you are an OG to the channel or maybe you've come along for the ride as of recent, I'm going to go through a lot of stuff. I'm nearing 100,000 subscribers and I feel just so honored that that many people actually care. And for anybody who doesn't care, well, you don't need to watch, but it'll be a really good summary in reality of some of the cars that are here and what have made the channel possible over the years. So as mentioned, this car needs to go up there. And if any of you guys are wondering what it's like owning so many cars, some of you guys might think it'd be awesome to have a lot of cars. And to be honest, a lot of people ask me how many vehicles I own, and I wouldn't even be able to tell you right now if you were to ask me. I'd be sitting there kind of counting on one hand, counting on another, then I'd forget that there's some in body shop jail. I'd forget that there's some that are still in Canada, in a different country altogether. And aside from that, you got to factor in some other things like space. And if you don't have enough space left to right, well, then you might have to look into space going up and down, i.e. having some lifts around. Aside from space, then you got to consider batteries going dead, tires going flat, fluids getting leaked onto the ground from, well, just some cars are older than others, and it can be a challenge to maintain them all. So with that said, we're not going to be moving or starting everything up in the shop. The two Dutch cars in the back, I'm going to save those because I'm actually going to get to them this year, fingers crossed. And if you guys have been following the channel, with my personal stuff, it can be a challenge to keep yourself motivated, but I do my best to try and cycle through the cars that need attention to keep things moving because there's nothing worse than a car sitting and not going anywhere. So what we're going to do is, in order to get this 4-post down, we need to move all the cars, the two cars from underneath it, need to move the M5. We got to get the silver car out in order so that we can get it back in, turned around, and then we'll be able to back it up onto the lift once we get it down. And once the lift is down, it'll be an opportunity probably to fire up the SN95 car. A lot of people ask about it and say they want to see more SN95 content. One day, these cars are going to be as cool as a Foxbody. Maybe. And then we actually need to get my white Foxbody from the other bay, the non-insulated bay, which I call the patina bay. Over there also has my 65 Lincoln that I have failed to get to. My good friend Charles said, man, you told me you'd have that car done in 2 years. Well, you know, 4 years later, not much progress. So once the 93 Cobra is done, this guy, and that thing is sold, well, hopefully that influx of cash will allow me to invest into the Lincoln some. So at least that's the strategy. That's the direction. Let's get into some of these cars. We'll talk about them. We'll start them up. We'll get them moved around. And hopefully you guys can let me know in your comments which car out of the ones that are moving around here in the shop today is your favorite. Which one would you like to see more content on? And hopefully this video will be interesting enough to push me past that 100,000 subscriber mark. So if you haven't subscribed, please do that. And if you want to support the channel even more, fresh merch has dropped. You can get that down below, or you can get it on my website, theinfamousproject.com. Hats, t-shirts, you can buy yourself a Godzilla motor if you want, and lots of more stuff. So let's get at it. All right, first up, tip ditch coupe. This car has gotten quite a bit of love over the past year. So I first got this car in 2017. It did not look like this. It was this original paint. However, I did the kit, I did the ditch suspension and modifications, interior, the wheels, the air ride, all of that good stuff, guys. If you want to see more information and videos on this car, there are plenty out there, even signed by Derek Hansen, the late founder of Dutch Motorsport. And this was the tribute car that I built that allowed me to meet Derek Hansen and allowed me to start offering these body kits for sale again out of the original molds. And although he is not here with us anymore, I still work quite closely with his son and carrying on that Dutch name and brand. And hopefully that Dutch documentary will be done by next year. So let's fire this car up. So we successfully moved the 93 Tip Dutch Coupe outside. Next in line, my 2003 BMW M5 Haman edition, GCC spec, meaning from the Middle East. And I bought this car in 2011 when I first moved to Dubai. And you'll notice on the license plate, DXB-YYZ. Dubai airport code, Toronto airport code. Of course, originally being from Ontario, Canada. When I imported the car in, I just figured it was a suiting license plate for it to represent kind of the two countries that I'd spent probably the most amount of time of my life living in. So this car, bucket list car for me, this might in fact be my most favorite car. And I mean that across like even the Foxbodies, this might be it. I don't even like red, but this is a red that I am okay with. So this car, pretty low mileage, just over 90,000 miles now. I bought it with 60,000, drove it all over the place in Dubai, went all over Dubai, Oman. I shipped it to actually here in Texas, drove it 3,000 miles across the country back into Canada, imported the car up there, and obviously the car is now down here with me on its temporary status, and just love this car. 540 horsepower to the rear wheels, powered by a 5-liter V8, natural to the car, but with the addition of an RK Stage 2 supercharger system, fully intercooled, and a lot of nice carbon fiber goodies underneath the hood of this thing. So I'll pop the hood before I start it up for you. That nice Amola red interior. So if you're a BMW guy, you will know Amola on Amola is quite the combination to have. So if you're not a BMW guy, hopefully you can at least appreciate this here. So we got a Vortex supercharger, full carbon fiber piping, and that's to keep the air as cool as possible. Massive intercooler in the front. Got some Spall pusher fans, Spall puller fan. Got the blow-off valve. Recently redid all the coil packs. Carbon fiber plenum as well. Absolute beast of a car. Full coilovers, big brakes, full exhaust, and you're going to hear it here in a second. All right, 2 down, 2 more to go on the underside here, and then we'll actually be able to put the 4-post back down, and maybe we'll fire up the SN95. So next in line here, just so I don't have to cut this corner too tight, is the Stalker Vert. Now the Stalker Vert, in fact, the Stalker Vert and the 92 BMW next to it, these 2 cars are what made the infamous project. That's right. These 2 were built in my parents' garage in the dead of winter back in the late 2000s after my day job, and live streamed before live streaming was really even a thing. So forums were big back in the days, and if you guys want to check out some pretty long-winded, boring content of live streaming, the stuff actually is posted up on YouTube. Now, I did lose some of that footage because it was originally on Ustream, I believe it was called, and I forget what happened, but I needed to get all my content off there before it got deleted, and I think I ended up with some content that that was not saved, unfortunately. But the cars are still here. They're still in my life. This car sold and bought back twice. This car driven Mustangs Across America 50th anniversary from California to Charlotte with my good friend Lewis, who is the individual that I actually bought the car off of originally. And well, of course, it looked nothing like that before. This car is the convertible of convertibles, and I say it's the lowest static dropped Foxbody in the world, and this thing sits lower than my silver notch completely aired out, but this car drives that way, and I'm gonna have to put some boards out that lip right there so I can get it out of the garage doors. So battery charger was on this one, lights green, so hopefully it fires up. So let's get it going, and let me make sure the tires have air because they were down a little bit. I think that back one could use a little bit, but I think we'll be okay for the purpose of getting the car out. So 87 Stalker Vert. Well, what did I tell you guys? Life of batteries. Need the booster pack. Well, I guess a quick opportunity to show you guys underneath the hood. Old school cool. 306 GT40 irons, E303 camshaft, Vortec S trim, the old noisy guy, and poor man's wire tuck. That's pretty much it, the basics. So this brings us to my 1992 yellow Dutch notch, and this guy's probably the latest edition in terms of, well, I guess the 93 Cobra is, but I guess something long-term to my own personal collection. This is the most recent one. I picked this car up almost 2 years ago now, all the way back up in Canada. This car was stored since pretty much 2000 or 2002. It was at a car show in Toronto, big show called Autorama back in the day, and the owner had it all those years. I caught wind that the owner was possibly wanting to sell it, and we went back and forth for probably 3 years. By the time he finally got it out of storage and we went back and forth and everything else, and of course I had to go through and do quite a bit to get this car to where it is now, but man, this yellow paint is just awesome. I added the 18-inch Borbette wheels. I put in black and yellow Recaro seats, yellow seat belts, upgraded the Viper alarm. We got yellow underglow underneath the car. Got an awesome stereo setup in the back here. Keith at K Designs. In fact, he just ran that wire the other day for the LEDs that light everything up in the trunk here. Just did an absolute awesome job. Lots of videos on this car, guys, and it's nothing too fancy underneath the hood. You can see everything is yellow on this thing. It's got a couple little mods underneath the hood, nothing crazy, but sounds great with the old school Flowmaster exhaust. And this car is just a cruiser. Cold AC, looks right, sounds even better with the stereo and everything else. Comfort of the Recaro seats and all that stuff. So let's get this car moved and out of here. All right, so before I can put the 4-post down, I'm going to wipe up some of the leaks, sweep up some of the dead bugs, and then I actually got to run my air line over because the locks on the lift actually use compressed air to unlock, and then we'll go ahead, put the lift down, and maybe we'll see if that SN95 will start up. All right.
Okay, I'm rolling, I'm riding, rolling, I'm flexing while driving, rolling, you know when I come through, rolling.
All right, guys, here it is, the SN95, 96 Dutch car. So this guy's pretty much got the entire Dutch catalog thrown at it. It's got a ultra rare Dutch ASG in the rear. It's got the speed drive springs. It's got a fully built 4.6 with a Vortec S trim underneath the hood, and you guys will see that in a minute once I pop that hood, because right now it's also got a lot of dust and droplets, and I think this car got caught out in the rain real quick last time, so it's in real clean shape. And again, guys, you can see all the videos of all these cars on my channel. See them for yourself. If you guys haven't seen the old videos on this car, they are there, so you can check them out. And I actually gave a deposit on it. The guy changed his mind, gave me my money back, and then like a year later, finally decided he was willing to sell it. So here it is. Haven't really driven it much. Its biggest road trip was from Peterborough, Ontario to Detroit for Motor Cities. So the very first Motor City Fox Fest, this car actually was there, it was shown, and then from there it came down to Texas. So I'm gonna get it cleaned up since it's down. Oh, isn't that a nice sight to see here? There we go, it's like taste the rainbow out here. I'm just going over here because I need to get this. So I don't talk too much stuff on my channel about like products, and especially I should be asking them to give me kickbacks on this shit. But they got me. The Facebook ads got me. This stuff actually works really, really well. When they say waterless or whatever, and it's just as good as wax, guys, like that is seriously old, painted in my parents' garage paint job, and it looks great. So I'm gonna shine this thing up real quick. Spray white. I'll go over that cloth after, since this is gonna be the dirty one. car is a little bit shinier, a little cleaner now. Looks pretty good for an SN95 car, I gotta say. So let's pop the hood and see if this thing will fire up. There you go, there's the hair dryer. You see some braided lines in here, some other goodies. But let's get this thing fired up. It's got the Borla side exit exhaust, which definitely gives it a little bit of a different sound. So let's get the booster pack on it and you guys will hear it. Well, there you guys have it. Pretty sure that this blower needs a rebuild. You can hear it's a little beyond noisy. Like there's something else going on in there, but we'll get to that one day when this car is actually going to be driven. If I had to prioritize things, ditch number 5. I got to find out what the misfire is on that ever since I did the rebuild on it. Ditch number 9, need to get that in for full paint correction, detail, and I actually just want to do basic service stuff. That car runs and drives fine, needs some tires. So I want to be able to get that out, get these 2 cars going, especially for the reveal of the ditch documentary once I get it done. And then maybe I'll give some attention to this guy, but remember, there is another SN95 car up in Canada, a true Detch. In fact, it was owned by Detch. It was their test mule, their track car, the one that was in all the magazines back in the day. I still got to do something with that one. So there we go. We're gonna let this guy come up to temp. I'm gonna set up the ramps in the meantime here so that way I can air up the silver car and I'll back it on while this guy is going through a full heat cycle, because I don't want to just start it up then shut it off, you know, just enough to create condensation. That's not going to help the exhaust, it's not going to help anything else in the motor. So what would really be good is to drive the thing down the road, but tires aren't good and it actually takes quite a bit to get that off the lift. I'd have to move more stuff in this area to get it down properly. So for now, a heat cycle and more sitting. Somehow that battery won't give up the ghost. It actually started charging. It's got a charge on it now. I don't know if it would come back to life fully, but yeah, I'm actually impressed with that one. So here we go. We got the silver notch up on here now. And one thing that I did want to show you guys, for those of you that haven't seen it, if you caught me at any of the Mustang Week or pits, you would have seen that Keith knocked out the rear trunk of this guy as well, and finally got all my OG Sony stuff in here, the custom tip emblem in the center, and just turned out absolutely amazing. So my battery is now tucked in underneath that guy. I want to make sure I have a tender plugged in on this car while it's up in the air. Now this unit, you'll notice, is plugged into a normal 110 volt socket. And that's because you can actually get these guys in 220 or 110. And the big difference, 110 moves at the pace of a snail, slower than a turtle. So you got to be a little bit more patient for it. With that said, being a storage lift, well, You know what I mean? It's not like you're going up and down multiple times a day, or even multiple times a week for that matter. So I'm all right with it. I did mean to wipe the bugs off the front of this guy. I'll have to do that. In case you guys haven't seen underneath the silver car, I don't think I actually have much content of underneath here. And when I redid some stuff under here with the CHE lower control arms and redid the bag mounts and everything, I actually ended up losing that footage. But you can see here's the Dutch ASG. You can see I've actually got a little bit of a drip here. And I didn't do this cover. I didn't think I needed to, but next time. I guess that's why it's up in the air. So I guess that'll be a next time thing. And for now, the drip tray can go under it. SN95 car, you can see it's seen, that's what Canada looks like, guys. But another Dutch ASG, there's the Coney yellows. Everything else, it is a pretty clean car. Some, you know, the diff is the worst part. All this stuff, some dry ice to go a long way. But not too bad for Canada. Look at this, guys. Just did the rear main seal on this when I did the clutch, and it leaks. Or, actually, I take that back. I think I have a valve cover leak. Ah, better than a rear main, I guess. But yeah, it's leaking down there. Can't win with these Foxbodies. Drip tray. Man, some of this old stuff, I tell you, brand new parts. I don't think it's a rear main. I think it probably is a valve cover gasket, but there is always something with these cars. Always. Do not be fooled. These BMWs, whatever it is, there's always something. So let me get the bugs off the front of that guy, and then we need to figure out what we're going to park underneath. All right, so I think I'm actually going to stick, I'm going to stick the yellow notch here, I think. Oh, no, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'm trying to plan out or be strategic about what's going to be driven next. And to be honest, it's not that much work to move whatever is out underneath the 4-post here. It's just really kind of moving whatever's parked in this vicinity. But I need to kind of play my cards right, because I actually want to get my white coupe out from the bay over there. And then I want to put my Lightning, which is staying, it's just pretty much storage underneath that rear tonneau cover. It's to the point it needs paint, and it needs some gone over stuff. The motor is running good. We'll get into it in a minute. But yeah, let me see. In fact, you know what? I know, well, all right, guys, so I was gonna actually move the E36, but I'm gonna keep it there. It doesn't really make a difference other than the fact that I'd possibly be starting it up, and it's a cool car. This thing has gone between me and a couple friends over the years as well, and it actually was a now friend of mine's car way back in the day, and that's how it's not how I met him, but it's how I got the car and probably how we became closer friends. So that car's got some pretty cool history and a cool story. And of course, being one of the original Infamous Project builds, it's just got nostalgic, and I don't care if it never runs. With that said, tons of super cool AC Schnitzer specific parts, like the Haman on the red M5. It's sort of like Celine or Detch or Roush or Steeda is to the Mustang, is or are AC Schnitzer and Haman to BMW. this guy out. I feel like front tire is very low. Yes, it is. So I'm gonna get the air peg. We're gonna air up this tire, and we're gonna get this car over to the other side. Because doesn't belong here. This has no AC in here. Gets super, super hot and sticky in the summer. And it was just sort of a temporary thing while I got things moved around. So I'm gonna air up that tire. We'll get this guy started up and out of here. Alright guys, the white ditch. You'll remember I just did a gear drive on here with the timing cover gasket and a bunch of maintenance items. So this is one that I did get to. Nice Recaro seats. And guys, I have had this car forever and I sold it, bought it back, and was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to get it back into my possession. There's a lot of memories in this car. This is like my green dragon to Gary from Castle Customs. You know, I was in university when I had this car. You're doing the road trips, you're doing all the things. This one's got probably one of the most unique exhaust notes you've heard on a Fox. So anyways, I'm gonna have to move this, and then we'll get this back into the shop. Now the Stalker vert can kind of go right here where the M5 was, and that's right, the two Beamers are going to be right here for now. Car starts up quick when it starts. Originally, what I wanted to do, since technically I have that spot in the garage, is I wanted to get the Lightning in there, but I think I need to move some stuff around, guys, and I don't know. I need to do some measuring. If the car actually needs to go up a little bit higher than it is in order for me. There's wheels and tires and shit in the way, and it's going to take up a lot of room. So I think the Lightning is going to stay put for the moment, which means you don't get to hear it start up, but there's lots of videos on it, lots of pains, motors in and out. So that Lightning, another one that I had sold and bought back. That truck has gone all the way around the world with me. I shipped that thing to Dubai, brought it back. It went from the US to Canada, back to the US, all over the place, and absolutely love it. That's why it deserves to get a new paint job and get a restoration, so to speak. And it's not going to be anything like nut and bolt restoration. It's just, I want it to look good, much like, I don't know, the white coupe or the yellow one or something like that. Like stuff that, you know, I can drive and not be scared to drive it. Well guys, that's going to do it for this video. I didn't move and start everything, but I think the video is long enough and you guys got the point, and you can see what goes into having to move so many cars around just to kind of reorganize and reshuffle. And plans sort of changed. You know, I thought I was going to get the Lightning moved and all that other stuff, but now at least I've freed up a covered parking spot over there. I've got things rearranged in here for now. When the chassis comes back from the fab shop, and of course it's going to get rolled underneath this guy again, and we'll get back on it, and we've got ourselves a full house in here. So there we are. We got everything moved that we needed to, at least that we think we need to for now. And thank you guys so much for following along. Thank you again so much for your support. I really hope this video, by the time I get it out, puts us over 100,000 subscribers to the channel. Be sure to comment below which one was your favorite, which one you'd like to see in the near future, and I'll try and do some more content on it. And any other recommendations or thoughts and opinions you might have, good or bad, drop them down below. We'll catch you next time here on The Infamous Project. All right, so who doesn't like a little extended content sometimes? So it's actually the next evening, and I'm wrapping up editing all the other content that I took yesterday. But then the wife advised me that we have possible hail coming over the next 3 days. So with that said, I need to make a little bit of extra room so that I can get her Range Rover underneath the shop, so that way I can open up a spot underneath that carport and mitigate any possible damages that we don't need. In order to make a little bit of room, I'm going to pull the M5 as far forward as I can and try and tuck things away nicely, which means we get to start up the E60 V10, last of the naturally aspirated M motors. And I'm not going to say this is my most favorite car in my collection, but it's definitely up there and probably one of the most fun. Now, this is an 06 Alpine White on Silverstone interior, and this is definitely my most favorite interior out of all my cars. That light Silverstone, almost white color is just awesome. And here's a little hint that this color combo is probably going to come to that car, which that car is going to be a lot of one-of-ones, so why not do something different? So with that said, I'm going to fire this thing up. I'm not going to show you guys any more musical cars. I'm just going to let you hear the music from this 5-liter V10. And this guy has Dynon mufflers in the back. It's not as loud as my blue one was, but it still sounds pretty damn good during a cold start. All right, so the E60 is moved. The Green Goblin that was parked next to the house, I actually got it over in the patina bay. and that way nothing happens to it, because it's actually not my car, so I want to make sure nothing happens to it. Some of you might be like, why are you going to move the Lightning out to possible hail? Well, the hail usually runs in that direction, so if it's going sideways, it's most likely going to miss the truck if I park it and tuck it as close to the building as possible. That and the bed is actually fiberglass, so this isn't going to dent, this isn't going to dent. The hood is fiberglass, so that is not going to dent. Urethane. So the only thing that's really going to happen to the truck is maybe a couple roof dents, which there's the quality of the roof right there. So anyways, I'm going to put the booster pack on this thing. We'll fire it up so you guys can actually hear it. We'll move it over there, and for real, we'll be done with the ultimate car shuffle. All right, so the outside lights managed to kick on, and you can see this paint is roasted. There's hardly any shine left to it. Clear coat coming off. You can see the different color of the hood. It just looks satin. So obviously one of my favorite trucks. I recently sold my SRT10 Viper truck and decided to keep this one because I just love the look. The 23-inch Oz wheels, just, I don't know. This thing is an icon to me. So a couple little quick fun facts about the truck. Slam down on DJMs, flip kit, C-notch, lowering control arms, drop springs, no isolators, added shackles to the back for extra low. And back in the day, I'm pretty sure this was the lowest static dropped Lightning out there. Blower whore, he might have got me beat at some point, because I know with his truck, the Sonic Blue one, if you guys have seen it or remember him, that was a badass truck. So aside from the suspension mods on this thing, I got an old school auto rotor, Kenny Bell, got a JLT aluminum intake, AccuFab throttle body, obviously a catch can setup on it, because these things love to catch oil or blow a little bit of oil if you don't have that. And this is the third motor that's been in this truck. So the original one lasted about 170,000 miles. The second motor lasted its break-in miles, lost compression. And then finally this motor, which is a mystery motor, which is some great content. If you guys haven't seen, right? A motor that was exposed to the elements. The cylinder number 1 spark plug wasn't even in it. And it's in this truck firing up and running great for probably the past 10,000 miles. So there you guys go, my 2000 Lightning.